Prepare to experience the strongest radio allowable by law. Secrets will be revealed. Myths dispelled. From the studio gym where excuses never apply, it's Superhuman Radio with your host, Carl Lenore.
I told you I'm like a chimpanzee. I'm looking at myself. I can't. It's like I'm like a chimp. They see the image of their own face. They're like, oh my God, look at that. Welcome back to another year of Superhuman Radio as we travel full speed ahead into our 16th year of continuous production. And we were supposed to have a show yesterday, but my guest forgot. And that's understandable. Everybody's coming off of a long holiday. And so it's forgivable, but we will have him back on next week, Wednesday. It's a really good study that shows that the higher your omega-3 levels are, the faster your heart recovers from exercise. This is a big deal. And they may have discovered how omega-3 actually protects the heart in this particular study. So that's Wednesday. So we will have that show Wednesday. So don't think we forgot about it. We have to thank our title sponsor, as Legendary Food helps us continue into our 16th year of continuous production. I have to tell you that they have a brand new tasty pastry, and it is flipping amazing. It's nothing like the old tasty pastry. So those of you who've had the tasty pastry before and thought, it tastes like a Pop-Tart, what's the big deal? This one is more like the crust that you'd find on an apple turnover. It's puffy. It tastes like real pastry. It's delicious. And the cake style flavor is amazing. It really, really is. And it's a 20 grams of protein, 0 sugar. If you go to shrnetwork.biz/legendary and use the code SHR10, you'll save 10% off your purchase. I promise you, we went through a box in like 2 days. My nephew came over. He ate 2 of them. They're great toasted or right out of the package. This is a big, big win for Legendary Foods. Again, shrnetwork.biz/legendary or eatlegendary.com. Use the code SHR10 to save 10% off your entire order. And while you're there, check out some of their other products too. They have other tasty pastries that you know about. Hot fudge sundae blueberry. They have seasoned almonds. They have the best nut butters in the world, all there for the taking. If you're like me and you want to keep sugar out of your diet, it's easy to do over at Legendary Foods. Now, without further delay, let's go ahead and play Rob's music.
Calling all BluePrint Army. Fall in line. It's time for the BluePrint Power Hour with Coach Rob Regish on the Superhuman Radio Network.
How you doing, Rob? Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you, too. You're making me hungry with that Legendary Food stuff.
Didn't you say that? What was it that Jen tried? I think Jen, your wife, was talking about the ready-to-drink MREs, which I keep handy all the time. It's kind of reflective. But
Yep.
These things are amazing. Have you tried these?
Not yet.
What am I thinking? I'm sorry.
We have had
one. Okay. Obviously, my brain isn't working today. That's a Redcon 1 product. Excuse me.
All right. We have tried both flavors of the Pop-Tarts.
Yes.
And I think it's the peanut butter of the nut butters, and every single one.
The chocolate peanut butter nut butter. It's peanut butter instead of cashew or almond. They use a variety of different nuts.
Right.
I eat that one right out of the jar. It's so good.
What is the new flavor's name of the Pop-Tart?
It's just called Cake Style.
Okay.
Cake. Yeah, it's just, let me make sure I'm telling you. Yeah, it's just called Cake Style. See, it says on the side of the box, Cake Style.
Yeah. 20 grams of protein. That's a lot.
I mean, like this is if you are tired of protein bars with questionable ingredients sometimes, this is a great snack. And it's 20 grams of high leucine, high quality protein and zero sugar. Zero sugar. And it's got, so everybody's into collagen peptides right now, right? Collagen is a big thing now, right? Everybody wants collagen in their diet. It's good for your soft tissue, helps you recover from tendonitis and stuff like that. Their crust has collagen peptides in it. They use collagen to help create that fluffy crust.
What a great idea, huh?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Big win for Legendary Foods. Big win. So how have you been? Did you enjoy 2 weeks off?
I have. I'm letting some minor injuries heal, and that time was definitely needed. So yeah, I've been enjoying the time off to the extent that I can anyway, given the current conditions, so to speak.
Now you had to go to the doctor to have something checked out, an injury this morning, right?
Yeah, I did something to my hip, outside of my lateral hip here, and it turns out the doctor thinks it is aggravated IT band.
Yeah.
So it's not something. The good news is it's not something that will require surgery. It was not a structural issue, so to speak. It's just going to take a couple more weeks, and I've already seen benefits from having to do other things, and I can get into that later on. But sometimes these things aren't a curse; they're a blessing.
Yeah, and it makes you focus on things like stretching. So.
Yeah, right.
The first question comes from John Loncrino. He says, I've decided to get in the best shape of my life for 2021, and that started today. My goal is to get as lean and strong as possible. What would you be doing to get there?
Okay, so like a lot of people, right? He wants to get in the best shape of his life, or best shape possible, et cetera, which is admirable, right? It's a great goal, but many people have it and few achieve it. So it's important to understand why. First things first, you need more specific goals than just quote unquote best shape ever, or as lean and as strong as possible. Those are all somewhat subjective, right? There are no real numbers or measurements associated with those. So if your previous best shape was 225 at 17% body fat, then coming up with a figure like 225 or 10% body fat without losing muscle would be a very admirable and I think doable goal. As lean and as strong as possible, that likewise needs some tightening up. You might get as low as 7%. But discover that your bench press drops 20%. For people whose self-worth is defined by their bench, that's obviously a bad thing. So if it was me, I would set the goal of achieving 10% body fat, assuming that you're 15 or more right now, while simultaneously lifting 20% more on weighted dips and chin-ups, for example. And gaining a small or even greater amount of strength with the deadlift, because that can occasionally happen. Almost always you'll see when someone loses weight, significant amount of weight, their upper body strength takes a dip. And I'm talking about the bench press. The deadlift and the squat, however, that can be a different story. So, but the point is this, those two goals coexist much better. And you'll find one reinforces the other, meaning as you lose more and more fat, your dips and chin-ups should be getting easier, right? Because it's less total weight that you're having to move around. And as your strength climbs in the gym, it'll likewise motivate you to be disciplined in things outside of it, like diet. And make no mistake, diet is going to be the most important factor for most people in achieving that goal of lowering their body fat. Okay. Speaking of which, it is likely that you will need to either lower your carbs, calories, or in some cases, both. If you're going keto, you can make life a lot easier on yourself by periodically scheduling a carb load, okay, or a carb window of eating. And here's the important point. I define a carb load as anywhere from, let's say, 4 to 48 hours. And so these carb windows can simply be, you know what, Saturday's going to be my carb day, but I'm going to get all of them after my workout between the hours of 4 and 8 p.m. And that's your carb load. I would also give yourself not one deadline, but two. Okay. I would give you 90 days to achieve the goal, at first, and then also have a 180-day time frame, because I'll tell you why. Too many people set aggressive deadlines. They then, let's say, within a month, I want to be, 5% body fat and benching 300 pounds. What happens is when the 30 days comes and goes and they haven't achieved that goal, they self-destruct. Okay. They beat themselves up in the process. And before they know it, they have regained everything that's been lost. 90 days for a reasonable goal is aggressive for some people, but it's doable if you do it. If you miss that, it's not the end of the world. Give yourself another 90 days, and then, you add it up, 180 days.
Especially if you see progress. Like if
Right.
you don't hit your goal in 90 days, but you're like halfway there, stay on the track.
Right. And however small that progress is, it's still progress. The vast, vast majority of people are not competing in some contest, either a vanity contest or a strength contest. So I see no reason, right, to get so aggressive that you're setting yourself up for failure. So if you are, however, entering powerlifting meets or bodybuilding contests, there's a plan for that. But likewise, don't kill yourself. You can see it. I want you to, those of you still going to gyms, you can see it right now. A lot of people sign up, right, for 1/1 New Year's. They're going to get in great shape, and they might even come in there every day, and run and lift weights and boom, boom, boom. And then at the end of 30 days, not only have they not achieved their goals, they're beat up, sore as hell, and getting nowhere. Of course, 90% of them quit. That's why. Keep your goal reasonable. Set not one, but two deadlines. Work hard and get it done.
So it's interesting because I'm faced with this too.
Okay.
And I've been talking to various friends of mine. Whenever I talk about this, I say to them, I'm going to take the next couple years and get back in shape. I think they look at me like, couple years, that sounds like a long time. And so then I explained to them, like, the last time I was really in good shape was the end of 2018.
Right.
2019, 2020 were bust years for me. 2 surgeries on my foot, couldn't train legs, various false starts to get back going again, COVID again. It's like, I have to be realistic. I had equity in my home, and then I just stopped making payments. And my home is in foreclosure right now, and I can't expect to go, oh yeah, in 2 months I'm going to be back to normal. No. I mean, yeah, if I hit the lottery, but you can't hit the health lottery. You can't do something that's going to make up for 2 years of bad choices. And so you have to be realistic from the get-go. If you need to be in shape for your next high school reunion, you'll probably be in better shape than you are right now, but you're not going to be in that shape that you want to be in, because marketers at supplement companies and advertisers on TV have filled you with false expectations.
Right.
And it's sad because most of us have taken years. Like when I was fat, when I was 330 pounds, it took me a decade of consistently overeating every day,
to get that big.
Week, every month for a decade. It's insulting to think that I'm going to reverse that in 3 or 6 months because I bought this new workout program.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so be realistic. Don't fall for the BS. Be realistic.
Yeah, and you notice their time frames are never longer than 90 days. They're a lot closer to 30. You know, they're selling you the lie that in 30 days you can have your dream body after 30 years of abusing it.
Yeah, I mean, you
Doesn't
got
work.
you got to take some time to really get back in shape. Scott Crawford says, I've ordered up some turkesterone for my next experiment, and I'm familiar with your take on the matter. Since I have it on the way, though, how should I best use it?
Yeah, so he alludes there as to what my take is on the matter. And just so we're clear, it is this. Turkesterone is supposedly the most quote unquote anabolic of all studied ecdysterones. And that, by the way, is due to a single study that looked at how much leucine was incorporated into muscle. My position on things is that isolated turkesterone does not do much in the muscle growth regard, and certainly not anything that you can quote unquote feel or is equivalent to D-ball, as some of the studies will tell you. They'll tell you it's better than D-ball. That opinion has been cemented, by the way, by turkesterone's additional cost, because unless you're made of money, the cost to benefit ratio of any supplement is important. And so if you're expecting drug-like gains and you're paying through the nose and you're getting something much less than that.
Well, or because you're paying through the nose, you're not taking the clinical doses that was studied.
No. Right. So turkesterone is only economically viable, just so you know, if you're shopping for a product, from the source genus Ajuga turkestanica. Okay, it is true turkesterone is also in Raponticum, but in much smaller amounts, and nobody I know of has created an economically viable method of extracting it. It just doesn't happen. Now, in fairness to turkesterone overall, I did see an improvement in my endurance. In other words, my VO2 max. Since I'm not an endurance athlete, however, I have no interest, especially given the cost of the stuff. That experience, by the way, mirrors my experience with 20-hydroxyecdysterone or any other isolated ecdy for that matter. So whether you're using Raponticum or really any herb, with few exceptions, I have always found more benefit using the quote unquote full spectrum material. In other words, all of the plant's available compounds in the ratios that are, present, just concentrated in an extract. It seems, and this goes for any herbal or pharmaceutical, whenever we try and to identify and extract what we think is the active in the plant, and then just used high amounts of that, things start to go wrong. The side effect profile is upped dramatically. You can see it all the time with prescription drugs, right? Where they isolate and produce the synthetic compound. Why? Because they can now patent it. The side effect profile rather goes sky high, okay? But hold on, back to turkesterone for a second. There may be some recourse in Turk after all, after I looked at some of the products on the market. Part of my full spectrum mantra is that today, 50 years after first identifying ecdysterone, we are still finding new ecdysterones in various plants, currently in excess of 500. You can see that on ecdybase.org if you're interested in reading more. In fact, in 2015, it was reported that 14 different ecdysterones had been identified in Ajuga turkestanica alone. Here's the kicker. 7 of those were previously unreported. That means if you extract just turkesterone from Ajuga, you lose 13 other ecdysterones that we know of, and there are likely more, right? I suppose it's possible then that if you can find some full spectrum Ajuga turkestanica, inclusive of not just turkesterone, but all of the known ecdysterones
and unknown,
right?
and unknown.
It might be worth looking into. So you will still need a training and diet protocol that's optimized for adaptogen use. Okay, if you're interested in the favorable body recomposition effects that I think you can get from these compounds, then I would still tell you the BluePrint is still the best, resource out there to do that. It was written for the express purpose of being an ecdysterone, protocol, training shell to use adaptogens in. Regardless, full spectrum Ajuga, if you can find it, might be a worthwhile experiment, at least certainly versus using isolated turkesterone. So long answer, but it's not a simple subject, as anyone who's gone down the ecdy rabbit hole can tell you. It ain't easy.
So we have a couple live questions we're going to get to before we take the first break.
Sure.
The first one comes from Kirkland Warletti. It's a long one. I'll do my best to read it. He says, hey guys, just checking in from work. I was wondering if either of you have recommended sources of colostrum. I have never tried it outside of Thrive. I'm looking into it for various reasons and would prefer a powder to use sublingually. You're not going to get enough sublingually. That's a waste of time right there. Yeah. Keep up the great work. By the way, I think the point that Rob makes about progress is great because overlook the value of adding 1/2 and 1 pound increases to their lifts from week to week. Yes, small increments. Okay, you have an opinion on colostrum?
Yeah. If memory serves, you actually had a sponsor once that had a really good colostrum.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
Coba.
Okay, so I would tell you first look into that, and certainly, you can do a deep dive on it. The other place that I would look for colostrum, but I don't know if he has it still. John Drake down there at Bodybuilding Supplements, he includes a little bit, kind of like you do, in his protein powder. Mm-hmm. And he does so for various reasons. He used to sell standalone colostrum, the same exact material, but just colostrum. He used to sell that to a number of doctors, actually, and medical facilities, so to speak. I haven't seen it for sale recently, though, on his site, but it's worth a phone call or an email to say, hey, do you still have the colostrum? And if you don't, could you tell me where to look? So there's two different avenues there. And does the stuff work? Yeah. Does it work to the extent people want it to? Depends what your expectations
are. You got to take a lot. So here's what I found out. First of all, the idea of a sublingual delivery is useless. You want colostrum to be digested in the stomach. More importantly, you have to take large amounts. Percoba, PERCOBA, is one of the most trusted names in colostrum. In fact, they don't just sell to people, they sell to farmers because colostrum is used to help wean calves off of their mother's milk. And they sell it at a price where you can actually take it in larger doses. In fact, when they were sponsors of mine, we had them make a 5-kilo bag, and we had people buying it, and we had people using large doses, and we had people saying that their muscle gains were unbelievable. The real magic in colostrum is twofold. The immunoglobulins that help to boost the immune system, but more importantly, lactoferrin. Lactoferrin is magic. Lactoferrin builds muscle. Lactoferrin it's a superior component of dairy. It's not found in regular milk. It's found in regular milk in such minuscule amounts that would be ludicrous to try to drink enough milk to get adequate amount of lactoferrin. But it's found in high quality colostrum. So check out Percoba and give it a try. But be prepared to spend some money on it and take large doses of it. I'm talking about a couple tablespoons 2 or 3 times a day. Just put it in your mouth and wash it down with water. It tastes delicious. I love the taste of
it's very soothing, or at least to my stomach anyway. That's one of the things that I noticed. It was very soothing to the stomach, and it gave a feeling of contentment. You know, I don't know if that shows up elsewhere in literature, but that's what I got out of it.
Yeah.
It was and it remains a good product. And how important now are those immunoglobulins? Right.
Immune system.
Yeah.
Tommy D says, Happy New Year, gentlemen. Happy New Year to you as well. He says, what is your most favorite hypertrophy movement, sets, rep, and scheme included for the hamstrings or hammies with minimal equipment? He says, I can chime in too. Go ahead, Rob.
So he's talking about a movement just for the hamstrings.
That's what he's saying.
Yeah. Okay. So if I was going to isolate them, personally, I'd use the reverse hyperextension. And on that movement, I would have a heavy day of 3 to 5 sets of reps 8 or below. And then the other day of the week, day 2, I would be using about 50% of that weight for at least 2 to 3 sets of 15 to 20 repetitions. It's worth pointing out that Westside lives and dies on reverse hypers. It works the entire posterior chain, glutes, hams, lower back, but in particular, those hams, if you do 2 things. 1, keep your feet together and point them backwards, as straight backwards as you can. And 2, if you have the ability to attach an exercise band, I would tell you to do so. You will see after about 3 weeks with that protocol, you go outside and sprint, it's like being shot out of a gun. Very, very big difference, almost entirely to your hamstrings. Strength.
So if you're saying with minimal equipment, get some sort of padding, maybe a yoga mat, fold it over a couple times and put it beneath your knees, kneel down on it. Put something on the backs of your heels to hold your feet down. This could be a piece of furniture, underneath a sofa, something heavy. Get a broomstick. Lay down with your knees on the pads and your heels of your feet wedged beneath the furniture that's holding you there. Stretch your arms out with the broomstick, put it down on the floor, and push down on the broomstick to start your body coming up, and use your hamstrings to lift your body from the knees up. Use the broomstick because it's gonna be a long time of hard work before you can actually do this without a broomstick.
Yeah, I was going to say,
body up and go down using the broomstick, hand over hand coming up, hand under hand going down. But focus on your hamstrings, pulling your body up off the floor. And you don't have to go very high up. You don't have to do like a king cobra and go straight up. You can just go 2 or 3 feet off the floor at a time until your hamstrings get strong enough to participate to a greater degree. But keep in mind, more people tear hamstrings trying to train hamstrings. It's very easy to pull an attachment right off the bone. So you got to go slow. You got to go gentle. You got to give yourself time. And that broomstick handle will help you from putting too much weight on the hamstrings by trying to do this and tearing a hamstring. But when you talk about minimal exercise equipment, you're hitting your hamstrings exclusively, and you're making your hamstrings literally levitate your body off the floor and back down again.
Yeah, I must have missed the minimal equipment thing, but you're right. The glute ham raise, whether that's at the gym on a glute ham bench or the manual glute ham raise, it takes an insane amount of strength to be able to do those. So don't be despondent if you don't get it the first time. Just keep working at it.
We're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we have more. I have to also correct myself. Earlier, I said that the flavor of the new tasty pastry was cake style. It's birthday cake style. Thank you, Natalie Kapitsky, my social media manager, and she helps me produce the show now. She just texted me and says, it's not cake style, it's birthday cake style. So that's what it is. It's birthday cake style, birthday cake flavor. It's delicious. It's worth your dollars. I promise you, if you buy any, you'll love them. And if you don't, send them to me. I'll buy them from you. It's an easy one. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with more Superhuman Radio. Are you ready to change the way you age? Of course you are. That's why you're here. Juvicel is a new first-of-its-kind dietary supplement that includes 10 key research-backed ingredients shown in studies to support lifespan. Things like resveratrol, fisetin, quercetin, pterostilbene, sulforaphane, turmeric, all in a single dose. You may have some of these ingredients already, but Juvicel is the first to combine them all into a single product to support your lifespan. It's vegan, non-GMO, and sustainable. Live better longer with Juvicel. Go to shrnetwork.biz/live better. Use code SHR and save 20% off today. Whether your goal is to build muscle or burn fat, you'll find everything you need at Redcon One. Need help getting a good night's sleep? Try Fade Out, or the most popular pre-workout supplement on the market today, Total War. Sign up for their new Transformation Challenge and win $10,000. Or shop for apparel that people at the gym will know that you are serious about your training. Need a testosterone booster that works? Check out Boomstick. Whatever you need, you'll find the best quality supplements on the market at Redcon One. Go to redcon1.com. That's REDCON, the number 1.com, or go to superhumanradio.net and click the Redcon One banner ad today. TaylorMade Health is focused on making sure you're able to perform and look your best. They are a leader in game-changing supplements and cosmetic products. Whether you want to increase strength, expedite recovery, facilitate soft tissue repair, or reduce deep wrinkles, TaylorMade Health has you covered. TaylorMade Health is also the home to Dr. Seed's products such as BPC, BPC Plus, and the Chill Pill. All of my listeners can now get 20% off their first order with code TRY20. That's TRY20. This code can even be used on subscription orders. Visit shrnetwork.biz/try20 today and use code TRY20 for 20% off your first order. Getting a massage post-workout is a proven strategy to facilitate better recovery. Getting to massage therapists can be difficult and expensive, especially in these times. The solution is the Meteor, a heated massage ball from Milestorm. Reduce pain and soreness and expedite recovery with the Meteor's research-backed vibration settings and therapeutic heat. It's convenient for travel and works on any body part. Go to shrnetwork.biz/Meteor and use code SHR15 for 15% off and free shipping if you buy 2 or more. Start recovering better today.
New Mass Pro Synthogen X2 just upped its own legendary game. To distance itself even further from the rest of the pack, Synthogen X2 now has double the key active ingredients. If you've ever wondered what steroid-like recovery feels like, Synthogen X2 delivers. See why others compare it favorably to powerful bodybuilding drugs at synthogen.com. Mass Pro Synthogen. When you train with it, you'll gain with it.
Do you remember those delicious toaster pastries you had when you were a kid? You know, the rectangular sugar-filled snacks? Well, guess what? Legendary Foods has just made low-carb toaster pastry. This is the first of its kind, and honestly, these things are amazing. They have 3 to 4 net carb, less than 1 gram of sugar, and 9 grams of protein. You can eat them right out of the wrapper or lightly toast them. The only question is, which flavor? Strawberry or brown sugar cinnamon? They're available at eatlegendary.com and Amazon.
Move over, superheroes. This is the Superhuman Channel.
Welcome back. Our next question. Oh, wait, we have to plug something. So those of you who remember, there was a special at the end of the year last year for the BluePrint Bulletin. It's still going right now. People need it more than ever. This is January. Everybody wants to reach their goals. An easy way to do that is through information. The best place to get information is from the BluePrint Bulletin. It's delivered right to your inbox. Great information and things that we can't discuss here on the show. People are all privy to. If you go to shrnetwork.biz/Coach Rob and use the code SHR5, you'll get 3 months for less than $5 a month. It's $14.99 for 3 months of the BluePrint Bulletin. Give it a test drive. If you feel like you wasted your money, you didn't waste a lot. I guarantee you'll get information that you'll use. And then if you like it, you can continue to subscribe. That's entirely up to you.
Yep.
Again, the website is shrnetwork.biz/Coach Rob. Use code SHR5. And you also get access to literally hundreds of previous BluePrint bulletins. There's a vast amount of information catalog there. It's all for the taking. Right,
Emphasis on vast. No, legitimately, I had a guy email me this morning. He said, direct quote, he said, my subscription has saved me, conservatively speaking, hundreds of dollars last year. And when you look at it since inception, he's been a subscriber for a couple of years now. He said, I can, confidently say I've saved thousands. So that doesn't include the time that people waste, unfortunately, in things like trial and error, on what training methods work best, what supplements are legit, which ones aren't, how to determine what the active ingredient is in some, and then, you don't have to purchase the rest of the formula. It's some very, very interesting stuff. And like you said, stuff isn't on the show. There are, of course, many of those, right? Otherwise, why would I have subscribers? But you'll see. Yeah.
Andy Hill says, I just turned 50 and looking to revamp my routine, including body weight stuff. I've never done calisthenics, though, and not sure where to start. Tons of tutorials online. Not sure what's best. Any suggestions?
Yeah, it's been a couple of years since body weight training has experienced this resurgence. But it's out there now. Most people are still lifting weights, but body weight exercise is no longer looked at as, maybe you do that when you're rehabbing an injury. No. People understand the value of calisthenics now. The question becomes, what kind of calisthenics? How do I learn it, right? How do I perform advanced movements? Those are all legitimate questions. And in the past, I've been fond of recommending body weight work, certainly. But my advice usually stops at, hey, you know what? Go buy Convict Conditioning. And I still think it's the best book on body weight work. But this is what happens in my experience. People buy it, people read it, and then they never do it, or they mistakenly think this is an either or situation, right? Body weight or weights. That's not true, right? Nothing, in fact, could be further from the truth. So let's take another approach. You're not going to buy any books right now, okay? But you are going to get a baseline strength level in 2 upper body weight exercises that everyone is familiar with, or at least should be. Push-ups and pull-ups. Pull-ups can be very challenging, right, for many people, especially those of us over 200 pounds. But that doesn't mean they're impossible. Far from it. What I'm saying here is you should set a goal to perform at least a couple reps with a minimum 25% of your body weight, right, hanging from your waist. So for a 200-pound man, let's call that your body weight plus 50 pounds, right, for at least a couple, 2-3 reps. On the push-ups, most males who lift weights can do, a lot of reps, and that's fine. But very few do push-ups at all, and that's really a crime, and it's wrong. It is dead wrong. Like the chin-up strength threshold that I just gave you, you should aspire to perform reps in the push-up with at least 50% of your body weight added. And of course, that can be difficult. I understand. A weight vest is easiest. And in that example, a 200-pound man would have to have 100 pounds on his back, right? Again, for at least a couple of reps. If you don't have someone to help you put that kind of weight on you or have a weight vest, we're going to perform another body weight movement, dips. Everyone is familiar with dips. Weighted dips with up to 50% of your body weight is a fantastic goal. In the past, I would recommend handstand push-ups, and certainly, I would still recommend them. The problem is that's also a skill, and it can take a long time, months, sometimes years before you're able to do those, okay? The point here is this. I'm giving you two well-known gym exercises. They can be done in any gym. I've given you the threshold, right? Strength levels to achieve, okay? At that point, I would recommend branching out your body weight knowledge by purchasing Convict Conditioning or like body weight book to tackle the even more demanding exercise variations for muscle groups right elsewhere in the body. Okay. The one quibble I have with body weight work is I have yet to find a body weight movement for the lower body legs that's going to put size on the way, barbell squats or deadlifts would. It's certainly one-legged squats are worth learning, but you're not going to build the massive thighs, assuming that's your goal. You can build very strong legs that are very functionally strong. And I'll say this, I have seen people with really bad knees just do body weight squats, and within 3 months, they have no knee pain. I don't know how it works. I don't know why it works. It just does. Okay. I would be remiss also to not mention bridging. Bridging is a fantastic exercise. It stands as an entire training system alone. It works the entire body. And once you are able to hold that bridge position, bridging off the ground, straightening your arms and legs, you can take that further. You can do bridge push-ups. I have a 13-year-old kid, my son's friend, who's doing bridging push-ups now, and he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. So, the bottom line is this. Yes, you should be doing body weight work. No, you shouldn't be looking to revamp your entire routine now and do just body weight work. You need to incorporate those two that I gave you and build up to those strength thresholds. A weight vest is a good idea. I know Christmas has gone past, so if you didn't get one, save up for one.
I was just literally ordering a weight vest and a sissy squat.
Yeah. Yep.
Sissy squat was great too. If you want to do body weight stuff, there's nothing like the sissy squat.
Yeah. Or even, hip belt squats, right? I've talked before about the Ironman hip belt squat. For those of you with back problems who can't squat or deadlift, there you go. But those 4 movements alone in body weight, weighted dips, weighted chins, one-legged squats, and bridges, you could go years getting stronger on those. Throw in some barbell work, right, on the squat, deadlift, or the hip belt squat, and you have the best of both worlds. You really don't need to go much farther than those movements either. They're plenty challenging. Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay. Next question comes from Ed Gilbert. He said, so it looks like my gym is closing down again. Since there's no end in sight for this COVID thing, I've decided to get a home gym. What can you make any suggestions for someone with a budget of around $2,000? And I'll tell you right now, real quick, there are gyms going out of business every day right now in your city. And you just need to be tapped into that. You need to look on Craigslist or anything like that. Or I mean, I was going to Tennessee last week to visit Aaron Singerman. The day I left, a gym in town shut down, literally that abruptly. And my friend Billy Mitchell went and bought a bunch of equipment, like pennies on the dollar. They just want to get the stuff out because they got to empty it out before they can leave.
I can't think of a better time in the past when than right now to start a home gym for the very reason that you just gave, right?
Unbelievable.
Pennies on the dollar. So get out there and look, and you're going to save a ton of money. The first thing I would do, though, in this instance, or wouldn't do, would be to put a dollar figure on your budget, because the best home gyms are not built overnight. They're added to piece by piece over the years, right? As time and money allows. Having said that, if you have the space for it, I think a power rack is the best place to start. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. Just a place where you can safely squat or bench press inside of a cage-like structure. Now, there are also stepped power racks, which certainly work. To this, I prefer the cage, but bottom line, get one of them and branch out from there. Some form of a chin-up bar is mandatory. There are some really good doorway models right now, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm.
That's about the only home gym exercise equipment, at least I've seen advertised, that I would spend my money on. But from there, you're looking for a 300-pound weight set, right? With an Olympic bar, maybe a trap bar. One important point, if you do spring for a trap bar, try to find one with very, very long sleeves, as that's going to allow you, if you want to put it in the power rack and use it, right? Very, very useful for things like standing overhead presses. It is worth paying the extra bucks for those longer trap bars, in my opinion. The Super Squats hip belt, we talked about that. You might not have back issues today, but back issues or not, that's a great movement to rotate in and out of your leg training. A quality neck harness is a must. And with that setup alone, you should be able to perform the following key movements, okay, in complete safety: bench press, squat, deadlift, trap bar deadlift, chin-ups, floor presses, standing overhead presses, the hip belt squats, barbell jammer press, barbell straddle rows, and many, many others. On the rack work, it would be a good idea to first run through each movement with 135 pounds on the bar to establish in those movements which safety holes are really safe if you're not able to get the weight up. And trust me on this, you need to write it down and note the movement and the hole number associated with it. Practice getting pinned under the bar in squat, right, bench presses, etc., to confirm that you can safely exit the movement even with heavy weights. Floor mats are obviously a good idea too, particularly for the deadlifts. We talked before about, looking for used weights. You can add things like power blocks, ab benches, hyper extensions. You can do all that stuff later. But getting stronger on the lifts that I just mentioned, for the least amount of money for what you're going to buy, you can't go wrong getting strong. And I didn't intend that to rhyme, but remind yourself of that, whenever you walk into the gym. You can't go wrong getting strong, and on that equipment, you can get scary strong.
Yeah, I need a weight belt. I mean, I need a weight vest. That's what I need. We have you just bought one?
60-pound one. Bought one for my son.
Where'd you buy it?
Online, Amazon.
I'm looking for one guy to buy the weight vest from and the sissy squat machine right now. I'm going to do it during the commercial break. How's that?
Yeah,
We're going
cool.
to take a break. We'll be right back with more of the Blueprint Power Hour. Stay tuned. By now, you're aware of the cognitive benefits of nootropics. My friends over at Pure Nootropics are giving my listeners 10 to 30% off their already great prices on over 70 high-quality nootropics. Stock up on DHM so you can feel good after your holiday celebration, or try the Superhuman Stack to boost your brain and energize your day. Go to shrnetwork.biz/pure, that's P-U-R-E, and start saving today. Getting a massage post-workout is a proven strategy to facilitate better recovery. Getting to a massage therapist can be difficult and expensive, especially in these times. The solution is the Meteor, a heated massage ball from Milestorm. Reduce pain and soreness and expedite recovery with the Meteor's research-backed vibration settings and therapeutic heat. It's convenient for travel and works on any body part. Go to shrnetwork.biz/Meteor and use code SHR15 for 15% off and free shipping if you buy 2 or more. Start recovering better today. Hippocrates, the father of modern medicine, said that all disease begins in your gut. That's why it's so important to protect yourself with boosted immune system. If you drink coffee, tea, smoothies, or really any beverage in the morning, and you're looking for a tasty way to start your day and defend yourself against harmful bacteria, then I have just the thing for you to try. It's called the Ultimate Immunity Protection Stack, and it was put together by my friends over at Bioptimizers. Their immunity stack has 3 products which contain over 18 natural herbs and probiotic blends formulated to fight and eliminate bad bacteria like E. coli, salmonella, gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria, and repair compromised gut lining. It also includes psychobiotics, which help increase serotonin and happy chemicals to naturally elevate your mood, performance, and cognitive function with no side effects or dependencies. It's a great addition to your morning routine, and it tastes amazing. Just stir it into any beverage, sip, and enjoy. It's the ultimate way to boost your immune system right before the holiday season. Go to shrnetwork.biz/protect and use code SHR10 and save an extra 10% off on the. You won't find this deal or stack anywhere else. For fast shipping and the best deal, go to shrnetwork.biz/protect today. Getting a massage post-workout is a proven strategy to facilitate better recovery. Getting to massage therapists can be difficult and expensive, especially in these times. The solution is the Meteor, a heated massage ball from Milestorm. Reduce pain and soreness and expedite recovery with the Meteor's research-backed vibration settings and therapeutic heat. It's convenient for travel and works on any body part. Go to shrnetwork.biz/Meteor and use code SHR15 for 15% off and free shipping if you buy 2 or more. Start recovering better today. Whether your goal is to build muscle or burn fat, you'll find everything you need at Redcon One. Need help getting a good night's sleep? Try Fade Out, or the most popular pre-workout supplement on the market today, Total War. Sign up for their new Transformation Challenge and win $10,000, or shop for apparel that people at the gym will know that you are serious about your training. Need a testosterone booster that works? Check out Boomstick. Whatever you need, you'll find the best quality supplements on the market at Redcon One. Go to redcon1.com. That's REDCON, the number 1.com, or go to superhumanradio.net and click the Redcon One banner ad today.
This is the Superhuman Channel. Evolution just got kicked up a notch.
Welcome back. Let's see what we got going out in the crowd. Robert Thompson has a question. He says, any thoughts on red panacea ginseng extractum packaged in vials? I remember that stuff. It's liquid. Yeah. I have taken multiple doses at a time with good results in the libido area, evidence of, or placebo, he's asking. You know, I played with ginseng when I was in college. In Kentucky, they forage for ginseng. It's called man root here, and it's a big business. I mean, people have been shot stealing other people's ginseng from their ginseng beds. But I don't know. Ginseng never did anything noticeable for me. What about you, Rob?
It depends. Perhaps more so than any herb. There's a lot of crap ginseng out there. Usually, you'll see it in gas stations, and the liquid vials used to be popular years ago, but now they're in more of the energy drinks. The research on ginseng is conflicting. And again, I think that gets back to some products are legitimate, others aren't. What makes a ginseng product legitimate? Ginsenosides, something called ginsenosides. Korean red ginseng is probably the most feelable, if you will. And you will get
feel energy like caffeine. What do you feel?
Yeah, you'll get a little perking up, somewhat like caffeine. There is research showing that certain ginsenosides, there's one called R1, is anabolic to muscle tissue. Probably not in the way we want it to be, but that research is out there. So I would tell you, look for a product standardized for a high percentage of ginsenosides, and there is one brand, TONIQU, I think it is, Tonique. They have an excellent ginseng product. I would refer you there, and you'll see, just how high it's standardized for ginsenosides. I've tried it. It's feelable. You can feel it.
I may try to pick them up. Let's see, because I've given up caffeine, so I could use something that gives me a thing.
Yep.
I remember this book. My friend Frankie Pignatano gave me this book in college. The Canadian Air Force exercise book. Have you ever seen it? It's more of a booklet than a book.
No, first time I've heard it.
It's a bodyweight book. It's fantastic.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Old school bodyweight program. Good place to start for bodyweight exercise. Worked for me. Still recommended. Yeah, it's fantastic. It's got a host of different movements that you don't even think of. Everybody just thinks, bodyweight squats, push-ups, pull-ups. This book is amazing. They have like these weird kind of jumping jacks where this arm goes out and that leg goes out and this arm goes out and you got to do them faster and faster. It's an interesting book. Really good advice.
And it's worth mentioning, every military in the world doesn't have their people lifting weights. They have them doing calisthenics. It's always been like that too.
Yeah, because you can't stay in shape in the field if you have to get a bench press and a deadlift, and it's like you can't do it.
Right.
Got to be able to do it with your body. This next question comes from Angelo Pofo. So I've heard you talk about anti-aging. I want to know about antioxidants. What's a good starter protocol without breaking the bank?
It's a good question, because the sheer number of antioxidants and related plantioxidants, if you will, continues to grow every year. And so while the public is generally aware of traditional antioxidants such as vitamin C, fewer are aware of the antioxidants that are found in herbs, or the interplay between them. I always tell people that are just starting out, get yourself some vitamin C, some vitamin E, astaxanthin, and alpha-lipoic acid, those four. There are always nuances though, right? And you need to be aware of them prior to purchasing. So here we go. You take, for example, vitamin E. You need to know when you're shopping how to distinguish between the synthetic, DL, D is in David, L is in
Lima.
Right.
Lima.
That is the synthetic, DL alpha tocopherol, I think it is. Right. The natural form is just D, no L. And it's much more bioavailable. Vitamin E can further be defined and broken down as to including the 4 additional tocotrienols, I think it is, and related compounds. So I would tell you 400 to 800 milligrams a day is a good place to start. Plain ascorbic acid for vitamin C will work, although you'll get higher blood levels with, let's say, liposomal vitamin C. Absolutely. You need, and this is the bone of contention that I have with the FDA. They say you need 60 milligrams a day. That's true. It'll work.
Not to develop rickets.
Right, or scurvy, right?
Right.
But if you want, if you want antioxidant, if you want the antioxidant effects from vitamin C, it takes gram dosages, right? So personally, I take a minimum 3 grams a day, every day, and that goes way up if I feel that something is coming on. And boy, do I have some stories about how much vitamin C your body can use when you're fighting something off versus when you're not. Okay. Astaxanthin is a member of loosely the carotenoid family. And some studies show it's up to 6,000 times stronger than vitamin C and 550 times stronger than vitamin E when fighting free radicals. I include it in Tranquillogen for that very purpose. I tell you 15 milligrams a day is a good dose. And then finally, alpha lipoic acid. I think that's important given it, two things. One, it regenerates vitamin C and E, but more importantly, it is both water and fat soluble. You only need, for antioxidant purposes, you only need between, a couple hundred milligrams a day, let's say. Very doable. And it's inexpensive enough now to warrant inclusion in your stack. Years ago, it was expensive as hell. And it was being used not without reason as a glucose disposal agent, but for most people that don't have problems with blood sugar, it's the antioxidant, I think, to use to round out your other antioxidants that you're using. Now, it is true that I use other stuff, cesus, curcumin, EGCG from green tea, quercetin, spirulina, and more are rotated in and out of what I use pretty much throughout the year. And you know what? It's worth pointing out too, when it comes to this preventative stuff and antioxidants, I've been doing that since my 20s. And a lot of 20-year-olds aren't doing that. I would encourage you to at least run a base antioxidant stack. And there's a couple reasons for that. But in any case, beyond these four, look, yeah, you can add other stuff, but things get pricey, right? There's no end in sight to purported antioxidants, but the ones I gave you are well-established, readily available, and cost-effective. And if you're interested in reading more, punch them up on PubMed. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. One thing I do keep seeing over and over about antioxidants is this. They are increasingly linked not just to prevention of diseases, but also building muscle, which doesn't surprise me, as you wouldn't think oxidation, right, would help much in that regard. In fact, I'm willing to bet it contributes negatively to the amount of muscle that you're able to build. So anyway, I'd start with those four: CE, astaxanthin, and ALA, alpha lipoic acid, and build out from there.
The R-ALA is a better form to use. You can get it, if not right away, within the next week or two from one of our sponsors, Pure Nootropics. If you go to shrnetwork.biz/pure, you can get a high quality, inexpensive R-ALA. The thing about antioxidants is this: too much is actually bad for you.
Pro-oxidants.
Well, it's not even that. Reactive oxygen species kills tumor cells. Antioxidants suppress the action of reactive oxygen species from killing tumor cells. This is why many of the oncologists who are paying attention today realize that taking antioxidants once you've been diagnosed with cancer can actually make your cancer progress faster. So this is where a good thing becomes a bad thing. I think the other thing that we need to consider is this. What is the most powerful antioxidant that you know of in your body? Do you know what it is?
Glutathione.
Right.
Yeah.
No, right. Stop right there. Guess how your body manufactures glutathione?
Well, I know what you could take to boost it.
No, forget that. Intense exercise, intense activity, the liver produces glutathione.
Yeah.
So if you want to really up your antioxidant status in your body without taking a lot of antioxidants, just be active, intense exercise, train once or twice a day, even if it's a walk in the evening and the weightlifting in the morning. And Rob is right. There are foods you can take. Guess what they are? Whey protein. Whey protein causes the liver to produce tons and tons of glutathione. And glutathione is the master antioxidant of your body. It passes the blood-brain barrier. It's effective as an antioxidant across all tissue lines. So you can definitely take vitamin C and vitamin E and these other antioxidants. I'm not suggesting you don't, but don't do that and not include whey protein in your diet and intense exercise in your life.
Yeah. And that's a great example of why we stress, right, the fundamentals: training, diet,
yes,
sleep.
There's nothing that's going to replace bad decisions. You can't out supplement bad decisions. Can't do it. Let's get this last question answered, and then we'll take a break and come back for the blueprint tip of the day.
Sure.
Robert Thompson is asking about mushroom extracts. I have different opinion about these now. Cordyceps were all very popular on the board when I first got into this. Joe Rogan recommends them and has his own brand. No wonder why he recommends them. He has his own brand. I recommend a lot of things and I don't have them. I'm not selling them. So I say take my advice over Joe Rogan's because I'm not profiting by you taking my advice. Okay.
Yeah.
There is emerging information in science today that fungi are hurting us. Funguses are hurting us. The amount of people who have toenail fungus today is overwhelming. And it's not isolated just to people who are diabetic. Toenail fungus is evidence of fungus in the body. Okay. Because it's coming from the root of the cuticle. It's actually in there. It's coming right from there because you can kill the toenail fungus with topicals. And then once the nail starts to grow out, the fungus comes back. We have people who have skin fungi. They have pigment loss where their skin starts to get mottled and it doesn't tan anymore when they get in the sun. We have evidence of fungi actually permeating the brain now. There is evidence that ALS, one of the worst brain diseases in the world, Lou Gehrig's disease, actually comes from fungi that makes its way into the neurons of the brain. Fungi is harmful stuff. And there's one guy who believes this so strongly that he doesn't even eat anything with yeast or anything with mushrooms in it. And he used to be the quarterback for the Patriots. What's his name?
Brady?
Tom Brady is the oldest living quarterback today to continue to play in the game, correct?
Yes.
He attributes his resilience and his ability to continue to age gracefully and continue to play to his diet. He avoids two foods that are very popular in our society today. All nightshades, that includes tomatoes, because nightshades are poison. It's just in the dose. And he doesn't eat anything that is a fungi. He doesn't eat anything that has yeast in it. He doesn't take anything that has any kind of fungi in it. He doesn't eat mushrooms. So, and I know he's an N=1. You're like, Carl, come on, it's Tom Brady. But we have a problem with fungi overload today. It's manifesting itself as neurological disorders because it's permeating the body. It's so high now that people's nervous systems are being destroyed by it. It's in the brain. They're saying now that it's the reason ALS actually becomes ALS. There was a paper done when my sister was fighting Parkinson's disease that showed that Parkinson's disease may actually have a fungal basis for its development. So I actually don't eat mushrooms hardly at all anymore. And I stay away from anything. I used to consume lots of brewer's yeast back in the 2008, 2009, because that's what the old time bodybuilders used to use.
Yep.
I don't care about cordyceps anymore. They're not intriguing enough to me. I mean, magic mushrooms, if I'm going to use those, it's because of the psilocybin. It's not because it's a mushroom. And I'm not eating a whole bowl of it. But yeah, I don't buy it. I don't think that so there you go. Joe Rogan has vitiligo. Interesting. Yeah, very interesting. Vitiligo is loss of pigmentation in your skin. That's been shown to be caused by a fungus.
Interesting. Yeah, I kind of took his question to be, tell me about things like cordyceps sinensis in the context of sports nutrition. Are they worth it? And the answer is it depends. Mushrooms do have a long history of medicinal use, right? And certainly we know the magic ones can alter brain function. Not always favorably, but sometimes, right, very favorably. It probably just depends on the dose. In the context of sports nutrition, though, I used lots of Cortigen 5. I don't know if they still make that product.
I remember.
Yeah, it was a combination of Cordyceps sinensis and Cordyceps militaris. And there were a lot of people that swore it gave them, better VO2 max. I used a lot of it. I think if I got that benefit, it was marginal. It's more likely to me that certain mushrooms and compounds in them, like the beta glucagons and so forth, in things like reishi and shiitake, you can find studies showing that they are protective against certain cancers. Do they do other things in the body which aren't that good? Maybe, maybe so. It's mushrooms to me are a family of compounds, not unlike ecdysterones. Some are useful, some aren't. Some, source genus plants are exactly what you want, and others I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole. So, I'm not the mushroom expert. I think, however, it's more likely that their benefit resides in preventative care than in performance enhancement.
And one other thing I want to mention, Robert, that you said, hey, Joe Rogan has vitiligo. He doesn't, it's not bad anymore since he's gone carnivore. Ron Penna, who's one of the smartest guys I know, like I learned from him all the time, used to say to me, it's not what you include in your diet, it's what you remove from your diet that has the most impact. So Joe went carnivore, and he said, ever since I went carnivore, my vitiligo is going away. Maybe it's because he's not eating mushrooms anymore.
Could be.
Because he's not eating a lot of stuff. When you go carnivore is just another form of an elimination diet. You're eliminating all these other food groups. You're just eating meat, eggs. I think some hardcore carnivore guys will eat butter and cheese. But it's like you're not eating mushrooms anymore. You're not eating those vegetable salads you used to love. You're not eating the salad dressing anymore. You're not eating all these things. And to say, oh, meat cured me. No, the meat didn't cure you. The meat distracted you from eating the poisons that you used to eat, and that cured you.
Yeah, you remove all those plant compounds, and I would imagine things like nightshade, which gives some people a lot of problems.
Right, eggplant, tomato, they're all nightshades.
Right, they probably think a carnivore diet is a miracle.
And consider this. There are no poisonous animal tissue. Don't misunderstand me. A rattlesnake has a poison gland. It's removed. You can eat the rest of the snake. You don't die from it. And a pufferfish, you can remove the poison pot and you can eat the rest of the pufferfish. That's a delicacy. But there's no poisonous animals. It's not like if you eat a possum, you're going to die because it's poisonous. The only poisonous things on the planet are friggin' plants.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah, that's
and of all the plants that grow on this vast globe that we live on, only like 4% of them are edible. The rest of them are not. They're poisonous.
Yeah.
And nightshades are poisonous. And just because tomatoes don't kill you when you eat them doesn't mean they're not contributing to some issues, underlying chronic disease, because they are a poisonous plant, just not in the quantities that you're eating them. That's all. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we have the Blueprint tip of the day. Stay tuned. See how much stuff you learn on this show? And I'm not even selling mushrooms. All right, we'll be right back.
New Mass Pro Synthogen X2 just upped its own legendary game. To distance itself even further from the rest of the pack, Synthogen X2 now has double the key active ingredients. If you've ever wondered what steroid-like recovery feels like, Synthogen X2 delivers. See why others compare it favorably to powerful bodybuilding drugs at synthogen.com. Mass Pro Synthogen. When you train with it, you'll gain with it.
Are you ready to change the way you age? Of course you are. That's why you're here. Juvicel is a new first-of-its-kind dietary supplement that includes 10 key research-backed ingredients shown in studies to support lifespan. Things like resveratrol, fisetin, quercetin, pterostilbene, sulforaphane, turmeric, all in a single dose. You may have some of these ingredients already, but Juvicel is the first to combine them all into a single product to support your lifespan. It's vegan, non-GMO, and sustainable. Live better longer with Juvicel. Go to shrnetwork.biz/live better. Use code SHR and save 20% off today. Do you remember those delicious toaster pastries you had when you were a kid? You know, the rectangular sugar-filled snacks? Well, guess what? Legendary Foods has just made low-carb toaster pastry. This is the first of its kind, and honestly, these things are amazing. They have 3 to 4 net carb, less than 1 gram of sugar, and 9 grams of protein. You can eat them right out of the wrapper or lightly toast them. The only question is, which flavor? Strawberry or brown sugar cinnamon? They're available at eatlegendary.com and Amazon.
TaylorMade Health is focused on making sure you're able to perform and look your best. You're a leader in game-changing supplements and cosmetic products. Whether you want to increase strength, expedite recovery, facilitate soft tissue repair, or reduce deep wrinkles, TaylorMade Health has you covered. TaylorMade Health is also the home to Dr. Siege products such as BPC, BPC Plus, and the Chill Pill. All of my listeners can now get 20% off their first order with code TRY20 at TRY20. This code can even be used on subscription orders. Visit shrnetwork.biz/try20 today and use code TRY20 for 20% off your first order.
Hippocrates, the father of modern medicine, said that all disease begins in your gut. That's why it's so important to protect yourself with boosted immune system. If you drink coffee, tea, smoothies, or really any beverage in the morning, and you're looking for a tasty way to start your day and defend yourself against harmful bacteria, then I have just the thing for you to try. It's called the Ultimate Immunity Protection Stack, and it was put together by my friends over at Bioptimizers. Their immunity stack has 3 products which contain over 18 natural herbs and probiotic blends formulated to fight and eliminate bad bacteria like E. coli, salmonella, gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria, and repair compromised gut lining. It also includes psychobiotics, which help increase serotonin and happy chemicals to naturally elevate your mood, performance, and cognitive function with no side effects or dependencies. It's a great addition to your morning routine, and it tastes amazing. Just stir it into any beverage, sip, and enjoy. It's the ultimate way to boost your immune system right before the holiday season. Go to shrnetwork.biz/protect and use code SHR10 and save an extra 10% off on the. You won't find this deal or stack anywhere else. For fast shipping and the best deal, go to shrnetwork.biz/protect today.
This is the Superhuman Channel, where we use oxygen for the power of good.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Let's just see here. Robert Thompson saying he's added a sled and a prowler to. Yeah, those are also good home. I need one of those as well. These are good. Any good recommendations on the routine? Yeah, just push that sucker. That's it. Load it up and push it. You know what? Put some fruit on it and act like you got a fruit stand and push it up the street and have fruit from you. What is the blueprint tip of the day, Coach?
The tip of the day has to do with finding a look that you can live with. So back in the mid 80s, there was an up and coming wrestler by the name of Magnum TA. He was considered by many to be a future world champion, given he had the look, he had the charisma, and he had the talent, right, in the ring to put on great matches. Early in his career, though, when he was just starting, he was almost solely focused on the look, right? More so than anything else. And so by his own account, he started out at about 230, 235. he got on the gas, and he says, and he shot up to 275 and lean, ripped. His body responded really well to the stuff. It was part of the scene back then. That's just how it was. Around this time, it was said that he walked into a locker room before a show, and he was greeted by a giant of a man by the name of Frank Goodish. Goodish wrestled under the name Bruiser Brody. He stood a legit 6'8" and was all of 300 pounds. He didn't exactly look like a bodybuilder, right? He was naturally big, and he's just a scary looking guy, right? I mean, he lended a lot of legitimacy to, this guy could do some damage if he really wanted to. But upon seeing Magnum, he says to him, "Wow, kid," he says, "you look great." And then he asked him what he was doing. And Magnum, of course, told him, at which point Brody reportedly said the following to him. He said, "Let me give you some friendly advice. Find a look that you can live with, something that you can maintain 365 days a year, present it to the people, right? And just learn your craft in the ring and how to talk and that sort of thing. You will have a much longer, a better career that way." And he was right. Magnum knew what he was saying, as he periodically had to come off, right, his heaviest cycles to give his system a break. And during that time, he crashed pretty hard, right? Like I told you, his physique, he just responded really well to the stuff. Well, it goes the other way too. When he got off it, he would go through some pretty drastic changes physique wise. And you could see it, you could see it on TV from week to week, and, something was going on. He simply couldn't maintain, for his body, a ripped 275 pound, right, physique year round. I mean, not just mine and a lot of other people, but that of course made it difficult for promoters to plan for things like big shows and extended feuds and all these other twists and turns that are part of pro wrestling. Ultimately, he took Brody's advice to heart and settled on a well-muscled 245 pound physique that the fans and the promoters could count on, right? I mean, they always knew he was going to be in good shape. He might not be 275 anymore, but you know what? 245, 250, that's still plenty big, especially back then. Tragically, his career was cut short in an auto accident, horrible car crash. He lost control of his sports car one night on a rain-slicked road in Charlotte, North Carolina, and he never wrestled again. But he did walk, which was something they told him he would never do. So he was grateful for that. But Louis, another guy who has spoken on this issue, or at least to it, is Louis Simmons. His advice on steroids, this is back almost 30 years ago. He said, get on a low dose of something that works and stay on it. I want to say, he said most of the time he used EQ or Larabalin or one of those drugs. And he only went on the harsher stuff, right, prior to a contest, which I thought was really interesting, right? I mean, here's a guy who isn't necessarily concerned with how he looks, but it impacts obviously how he performs. So he too understood you cannot always maintain a level of performance, right? Or attain a certain look and keep it there. You just can't. And there's a lesson there for a lot of guys, and I know a lot of them that are running 30, 40, 50 or more pounds over their natural body weight, right? And it's ultimately much, much better to either accept your natural limits and do it that way, or like Louis said, run a low to moderate dose of something year round, right? To find this kind of middle ground, because finding a look that you can live with is important. It's important physically, it's important psychologically, and I would argue even socially. one other benefit I found is once you settle on using whatever X to maintain, the look that you want, the focus is no longer on finding the next super chemical. And it changes, in other words, what really matters. And it should be like this. The things that really matter are like we discussed before, the fundamentals: training, diet, rest. Are those things all in line? Are you maximizing all of them? Because, if you're not, just shotgunning chemicals isn't going to cut it. It doesn't work. For a lot of guys who've never put much into those fundamentals and bedrocks, tremendous gains await them. The reason I'm bringing this up is I'm privy to a lot of conversations at my gym, and my gym's pretty hardcore gym. Got a lot of guys using a lot of stuff, and they're not shy about talking about it. But I noticed that whenever these guys get together, they don't ever mention training. They don't ever mention their diet. They don't ever mention how they're sleeping. It's all about trying to find the next super chemical or stack of super chemicals to achieve, in most cases, a given look. But, powerful as they are, performance-enhancing drugs are still an exercise in majoring in the minors. If you don't have your fundamentals covered, you are majoring in the minors and going nowhere, right? Fundamentals are much, much more important. So the bottom line is this: get out there and find a look that you can live with, because it's going to benefit you in ways that you probably never imagined. And at the end of the day, you're probably going to be a better athlete for it, right? Louis Simmons did not spend 10, 20, 30 years developing the conjugate method of periodization by pursuing, exotic forms of testosterone, decadorablin, or growth hormone, right? Obviously, he and a lot of other guys there use it. There are some guys that don't too. But the point is, their focus is not chemicals. Their focus is on training, and the world records that they hold say it all as to how important that is. So,
it's funny. First time I was published was in a Canadian bodybuilding magazine. And the title of the article was Thomas Edison Stealing Your Gains. And the premise of the article was 3 studies that I came upon that showed that impaired sleep impaired androgen receptor sensitivity and the affinity of androgens to the receptor, which in plain English means if your sleep sucks, your juice ain't working. It's not working as good as it could. Yeah, and so it was a lot of words basically saying better sleep, better results from your drugs.
Yeah, and there are a lot of guys out there that probably don't believe that, but it's the truth.
Well, and a lot of young guys that the young guys that are so fascinated with SARMs right now. Oh, I'm taking MGD 601352. It's like, and when they come off, they lose all their gains. It's just like they don't sleep. They go out and party on the weekends. They're drinking. They're doing coke. They're getting in the gym. They're training hard. They're using all these drugs. And what they don't realize is like they're it's like you bought an expensive Maserati and now you're going to tow a Winnebago with it. I mean, yeah, you could do it, but it's not made for that. And it's going to break down faster. It's just not made for that.
Yeah,
and
it's a great analogy, and they can't maintain that look without that stuff. So, once they're off, they don't even train, a lot of them, I noticed.
Oh, I've known guys that have only done juice and not trained. and they're the guys that are like the angriest, like, oh man, I'm on juice. Like, come on, get a friggin' pit bull. You know what I mean? If you want to scare people, get a pit bull.
Funny stuff.
Yeah, good information. But I like that angle. Find the body, and that's the real problem. Let's be honest. most of us in this crowd have body dysmorphia. We don't see what other people see when we look at ourselves. Oh, if my shoulders were just a little broader. Oh, if my biceps were just a little bigger. If my quads were a little bigger. And people looking at us going, are you kidding? Like, you're huge.
Yeah.
But not
it's a mental thing. Like I said, it's there is a very real component to bigorexia, if you will.
Yeah. I did a show about bigorexia in 2006.
Yeah, and I mean, those guys, they're chasing this pinnacle look and trying to maintain that all year round, and it's a dangerous game. After a certain point, you know what I'm talking about. It's a dangerous game.
Yeah, they start using things like synthol. They start doing stupid stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, synthol is poison. You're shooting oil into your body. It's going to seep out of your muscles, make its way into your circulatory system, be pulled through your liver, be pulled through your kidneys. And, you know, I mean, it's the stupidest practice in the world. And so many people do it because they're just in a hurry to look a certain way. And the way they see themselves in the mirror. I mean, I look at these guys that use synthol and I think to myself, dude, you look friggin' disgusting. Like, you don't even look like, it doesn't even look like muscle. You look
they look lumpy.
Yeah, you look like you got hit by a truck and they stacked you back up again. And they think but when they see themselves in the mirror, they're like, oh yeah, look at that. Look at me. And just for the record, to all of us in this group that seek to be mass monsters, chicks aren't turned on by it at all. Guys are. So think about this. Who are you really doing it for? What's your orientation? Right. Like, guys are the ones that are going to come up to you and go, dude, your arms are so huge. Dude, your lats are so wide. Dude, you don't see girls coming up to them going, oh my God, I love your body. It looks so great. I just want to make out with you right now. No, girls are looking at you going, oh God, that dude is gross.
Right.
It's the truth. Don't get me wrong. There are girls that like big bodybuilders. I'm not saying there's not, but by and large, society's not looking at you the way you look at yourself. Just accept it and go on. Accept it and go on. All right, that's it for today. The first show of 2021 is in the books. Go to CoachRobRegish.com. Also, shrnetwork.biz/CoachRob and use the code SHR5 to save huge on the BluePrint Bulletin. Do it today. We'll see you tomorrow, okay? Thanks a lot, Rob.
Thank you. Bye-bye.